We need all of you to get out on Monday and demonstrate that Canada is a country focused on the future, focused on fighting climate change, and focused on building a better economy for everyone. So let's choose forward.
The end game, the final countdown, pick your cliche, but in this wild, divisive, unpredictable election, it will not sum up the last biblical 40 days and 40 nights. The race, even now, is wide open. So today we're breaking it all down. We're going to start with what happened to Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party in this last 40 days. After the bubbly rise to a majority government back in 2015, he won 184 seats. He's now down to 177. The Liberals are suddenly in danger of seeing the red tide get washed out. Polls are showing them well below the 170 seats needed to keep their majority. So what happened to Trudeau Mania 2.0? Does he still have a path to victory? To find out, we have a special scrum today in a special place. Laura Stone is a reporter with the Globe and Mail. Great to see you back. Lisa Laflamme is our chief anchor and senior editor of CTV National News. Great to see you, Lisa. We've got, I don't know if you know this guy, CTV's chief political commentator, and Craig Oliver, of course, with his patented wave. And our special guest this round is the former Deputy Prime Minister, Anne McClelland, who will join us on election night as well. Great to see you.
Great to see
All right, Anne, let me just start with you.
Yes.
He has. Well, listen, the polls don't show that there's a kind of very slim chance of a majority, but it looks like there's no majority in sight. What happened to Trudeau Mania 2015?
Well, we were in power for 4 years. And when you govern and you're dealing with the tough issues, both domestically and internationally, every day, it's hard. I was in government for 12 and a half years with Mr. Chrétien and Mr. Martin. You deal with the tough issues, and you attract a certain number of critics, and therefore, you know, if you want to call it Trudeau Mania, Mr. Trudeau is now generally pretty well known in the country. He was a new commodity, quite honestly, back in 2015. Everybody knows him now, and he has worked hard. He has grown in the job, but I would say he's a better and more thoughtful leader and politician today than he was in 2015.
Well, I don't know, Lisa, does it? He's been really marred by, look, we got it, the SNC scandal, the blackface scandal, China, the broken promises on deficit. I mean, the opposition have highlighted that, you know, the quote, not as advertised. You've spoken to him. What's your sense of how he's done?
Well, honestly, my sense is, and I always am sort of interpreting what people tell me, voters tell me, and the one thing so many people right across the country have said is, it's all talking points. This entire campaign, and not just Justin Trudeau, we've heard it from Andrew Scheer as well, and to some degree Jagmeet Singh, but honestly, trying to get an actual answer on a real issue, a real question, has been just falling into talking points. And I've sort of thought through the whole thing, if one of these candidates just answered a question as asked, maybe people would respond to that instead of what seems so scripted. And I think one of the things, to Anne's point, Justin Trudeau was very, you know, we know he's a great retail politician. We saw it in 2015. This time around, we see him with the crowds, but the minute the question and answers start or the podium speech, it's just very scripted.
Yeah, it's very canned. And
people recognize that.
We've all spent a lot of time trying to understand what is the ballot question in this campaign. I really think that the ballot question is Trudeau, and whether or not Canadians are willing to forgive his sins and omissions and elect him again, or whether to take a chance on the Conservatives. I really think that's what this election has come down to. And when I say Trudeau, I include all of the issues on which I think many people feel that he's been on the right side of them, and the way he has taken his flag into the 21st century, and maybe other guys didn't.
So leadership, you're saying leadership.
Yeah, but it's interesting, Laura, because there's actually, Trudeau's running an ad saying the Conservatives want this to be about me. And they do want it to be a referendum on Trudeau. And Nick Nanos likes to say, when it's a referendum about you, you're in trouble.
Well, that's because this is not an issues-based campaign. They're coming into this campaign with the economy doing pretty well. NAFTA has pretty much been resolved. Even the issue of climate change doesn't seem to be the ballot box defining issue. This is all about Justin Trudeau, and he is coming in as a much more flawed leader than he did in 2015. That's because, as Anne said, he has baggage now, but he comes in under the cloud of SNC, his relationship with Indigenous communities, his relationship with the business community. And then, of course, we had the blackface controversy blow up in the middle of this campaign. This is all about what kind of leader you want to run the country, and Trudeau is the central question in that.
You know that you're nearing the end of a campaign when the Liberals start saying, you got to vote for us. Don't split the progressive vote. Don't vote for the for the others, or you're going to split the vote and you're going to elect Conservatives, which I kind of call.
Craig, we've always said that.
Yes, you
I was
have.
in politics for 12 and a half years. We always made that argument about voting strategically. There's absolutely nothing new in that, and it is absolutely common sense. And we would be crazy if we weren't saying that.
But isn't the wild card, though? Isn't the wild card to that point is Jagmeet Singh, and I think he exceeded everybody's expectations throughout the campaign. And now the question is whether people are going to follow the strategic voting concept or they're just going to vote their heart.
And did he inoculate himself, Jagmeet Singh, and we'll get to that as well, against that strategic vote? But just, Anne, real quick, the economy's cooking. This guy should be doing well.
Yeah.
But did he?
Okay,
jobs. But I get the talking point.
It's not a talking point. It's a fact. Sometimes you just have to deal with reality, Evan.
Did they underplay their economic card? Because I think Laura's right. They were all over the map. It wasn't about climate. Was it about the economy? Was it about going forward? Was it about fear?
It was about the middle class. It was about the middle class.
And those working hard to join it.
And drink.
But look. I guess I would say that we have one of the best stories to tell in terms of the economy over these past 4 years. You know, a million jobs, 300,000 kids out of poverty, the debt on a permanent downward track. We've got a good story to tell, and I would agree that I think that story did not come out as clearly as it should have. And part of the reason it didn't, and we've all talked about this, is that in spite of a million jobs, a large number of people in the middle class still have this sense of lack of stability, uncertainty, that somehow if they lose their job, they're 1 month or 1 week away from a financial challenge in their family. And that's why we focused on the middle class and the things we've put in the platform.
Laura, I wanted to pick
I think the problem for the Liberals is they have made the past 4 years all about Justin Trudeau. He was the savior of the Liberal Party, brought you back from the brink.
Well,
and now his character is under a microscope, and there are a lot more problems with who Justin Trudeau is now than there was in the 2015 campaign. The Conservatives have continually called him out as, you know, maybe too harshly a fake or a fraud, but certainly a hypocrite on several issues. You know, including look at what happened to Jody Wilson-Raybould and the whole Indigenous.
Can I just say one thing? Governing is hard, right? And you will develop warts and imperfections. But governing is hard.
I agree with that, but I think the opposition's criticism is that for Justin Trudeau, breaking promises started to look easy on things like the deficit, and that was his Achilles heel. Craig?
Well, you know, we've often, many of us, comparing this to 1972, and the same thing has happened in the sense that Trudeau has become the Liberal Party. The party itself has shriveled up. I talk to old Liberals who are, many of them will be happy to see Trudeau lose if he does. You know, like his father before him, he has become the party and the campaign. And that's why
we're seeing one of those old Liberals, Craig. And I would not be happy
more
to
of you
see
who are out
us
there.
lose.
You know, he cut too many people.
I think Justin Trudeau is an important part of the future of our party.
He cut too many experienced people loose.
All right.
Who he wouldn't let in the door, and he could have used them when he got in trouble.
That's what I love about election.
I'm getting so excited.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
This is the kind of stuff we're going to really be able to delve into.
Around this desk, which is going to be great. But I got to leave it there.